Oh my god. What's up guys? Welcome to today's video. In today's video, we're gonna be taking a look at the Maxace Serpent Striker. And no, that is not the title of the gritty sequel to Ace Ventura Pet Detective. Like a glove! Though I wish it was. It is a very cool and relatively cheap Balisong from China. Anywho, this knife is pretty freaking sweet, and I just wanted to give a big thank you to Maxace for sending it my way. They sent it to me a while back, and I've had it sitting in my backlog of reviews until this very moment because I'm slow and terrible. Before we get started with this review though, I just wanted to yell about my amazing patrons. Thank you guys so much, your support means the world to me, and also it helps me make each one of these videos possible. If you want to support me too, or just get yelled at, or just want to join our private patron-only Discord, now you can! Tiers start at just $3 a month, so consider donating. If you pledge $12 a month, I won't hurt her. Thank you, Penny. Thank you for your contribution to our terrible show. Also, next up, I'm actually going to be taking an aside from Balisongs and talking about my other passion, which is headphones and hi-fi gear. I really love sound and want to share my passion about it with fun, funny reviews similar to these. If you're interested in seeing that content too, hit the button that do the subscribe button thing, and also make sure to turn on the annoying bell thing that makes your phone go ding ding whenever I make a new playable video content for your luscious smooth eyeballs. Yes, that's correct. The intro to each one of my videos is going to get more and more chaotic until I eventually implode. My spoon is too... Ah, my secret! But aside from that, this knife is well built overall. It ships with stainless steel handles in a sandwich configuration with bearings as the pivot mechanism. This is a great cost-saving measure with balanced and quality parts, making this knife clock in at just under $150 on some websites. And it still flips well. The G10 itself is pretty high quality and feels nice in the hand. It comes in a variety of colors such as green, yellow, gray, and black, like the one I have with me here. It can come with either a trainer blade or a Tonto or a Bowie live blade. With me today, I have both the live Tonto and the trainer blade, and I will be giving you my thoughts on both when it comes to flipping. Looking at the main construction of the knife, I was pretty impressed. With just a few screws, everything is held together nice and solid. The G10 attaches to the steel liners with a single screw right in the middle, and then the handle is held together at both ends by 2 screws. This makes the knife very easy to take apart and do maintenance on, which is a big plus. Also, the screws themselves are very high quality and do not feel like they can be stripped easily, which makes me happy. The latch is high quality and does feel good, but I would still recommend taking it off as soon as possible, as it is made of steel and does add a lot of weight to the end of one handle, which very badly throws off the balance. Also, latches are for losers. Oh, I'm a loser, I'll fucking take that. Oh. The blade steel on this thing is 9CR18MOV, which is a very nice steel that holds a good edge. I also really enjoy the design of the Tonto blade here with its quasi-harpoon cutout for your finger, and great grind work. Also, the logos are etched into the blade perfectly and look very good in the light. Let's give it a look, shall we? The design of this knife is overall pretty appealing in my opinion. I really like the black and red colorway, and so does Brandon. Also, the cutout pattern in the G10 is very original and has sort of a cyberpunk feel that I'm into. The Tonto is absolutely my favorite of the 2 available blade profiles. I really like how sharp and imposing it looks, and the addition of that harpoon-esque drop for your finger is cool too. Once the latch is removed, I also really enjoy the symmetry of the hardware. The way it is mirrored across the knife and across each handle is very cool. Also, the usage of flathead screws was a good choice here, as it melds well with the rest of the design. Build-wise, I was very impressed with this thing out of the box. You can tell that it was built to take a beating with the quality of hardware that was used. The feel in the hand is nice, and the G10 is smooth to the touch and not too dry, which is good. The blade is nice and pointy out of the box, but not razor sharp either, which I actually prefer. It does cut stuff just fine though. I tipped it for sure on that drop. Turns out that the tip on this thing not only is just as dangerous as a Jerry home knife, but is also actually just as fragile too. Whoopsie. The edges of the handles are a bit rough when doing chaplains as it tends to dig in a bit, but it's also not bad enough that I notice it often. The cutout in the blade also works great as a place to rest your finger during chaplains. Everything on this knife feels nice and solid, no play at all when tuned right due to the bearings, and I found that the bearings are exceptionally smooth when clean. They don't feel grindy or sandy at all unless you get them real dirty, which is great. One more thing to note here is that due to the usage of bearings, you will absolutely need Loctite in your pivots. Bearings, no matter how smooth, do tend to allow for more vibrations in the knife, which causes your pivots to loosen faster than normal. When I was flipping this thing, I had to tighten it once about every few hours. Now that I've Loctited it though, I almost never have to tighten it at all. Obviously, I took the latch off immediately, but I will say even the latch has an impressive design. It actually uses a washer and bushing system similar to the Benchmade 51 latch, which means the latch will swing nice and free no matter how much you tighten it. The trainer blade is still cool design-wise, if not slightly less appealing to me. I do like the cutouts in it, but they do feel a bit less inspired and more just what was necessary to reduce the weight. However, I will say the trainer blade does a great job of replacing the live blade 1-to-1 at almost exactly the same weight, with about a difference of 0.1 ounces. Speaking of weight, this knife clocks in at a nice 5.3 ounces, which is a good zone in my opinion, provided that it is balanced well. It being on bearings also means that it feels a bit lighter when you're flipping due to the reduced resistance. Overall, it's 10 inches open and 5.5 inches closed, which is a great size for a Balisong. Not too big, not too small, basically perfectly in the middle. This thing really has the build quality I've come to expect from Maxace and does a lot better than their earlier Steel and G10 series knives like the Banshee. Now, for those of you that don't know, Maxace is kind of a weird company. They're a China-based knife company with a Balisong specialty. They don't just make cheaper knives though. Oh no, they make some really nice high-end knives too, with Damascus inlays and carbon fiber in the works. However, this knife, of course, is on the cheaper end of the spectrum, although it does not compromise build quality. The thing to note here is that there really isn't one specific place to get these knives from if you're in America, or the rest of the world for that matter. Maxace tends to not actually sell their knives directly to consumers, instead electing to sell through distributors like PVK Vegas or various online shops like AliExpress. That's right, this knife, which is a real knife, I promise, is sold on AliExpress. Yes, that AliExpress. Yes, the one you can buy clones on. No, Maxace is not a clone company. The upshot of this is that you can actually find the Serpent Striker on AliExpress for much cheaper than on most larger websites, even though you're getting the same product. The only problem is that because of its location, you'll probably have to wait longer for shipping than a domestic buy. However, this is a good thing for my international viewers, as if you were to buy one of these off AliExpress, it would probably take just as long to reach you as it would me. That makes it a good international option for people that can't buy knives out of the US. But enough about this crazy China crap, let's talk about how this thing flips. Yeah. You see, this thing is no crispy, crusty crustacean. Oh, no, my friend. It is a beautiful lobster that you can flip. This is a bad analogy. When this knife arrived at my door, it was in pieces, literally. I had to put it together due to shipping requirements and custom stuff, so I didn't really get that pulling it out of the box and flipping it for the first time experience. However, once I had finally put it together with the trainer blade first, I was pretty freaking impressed. Now, I know bearing knives are a hot topic where some people hate them and some people like them. For me, I've always been a fan of bearings if they were done right. They allow for cheaper knives to be constructed that still have great swing and no play, and this one is no different. When I first started flipping it, I began with rollover-based combos and was quickly impressed with how well it carried momentum from trick to trick. For stuff like the cherry picker, this thing performs great. I think this has to do with the handle-heavy nature of this knife. The handles really do like to continue their momentum, which can make ricochets a bit more difficult, but it makes flow-based styles very easy. Another thing this benefits is the aerial performance. The handles tend to swing in a very predictable fashion due to their weight. Similarly, parabolics also work great, and I can pull off palm spins easily. One standout feature of this knife is its ability to fan. It has a nice roundness to the G10, which contrasts the more square sides, and that works well when starting and holding a fan. I found that I could get a really good grip on this thing to start a fan, which is always awesome to see. Regular fans, choker fans, and Z-chokers all work great here. All is not perfect in the land of the striker, like Serpent, however, the side grips on this knife, of course, are non-existent due to it being a sandwich construction. Some makers alleviate this issue by adding spacers with extra texture, and this is something that Maxace has done in the past, but not on this knife. Due to this, ladders aren't exactly bad, but they absolutely could be better. Every time I try to pull one off, I always have the fear of the knife going flying off due to the lack of grip. Another problem caused by the sandwich design is the digging into your fingers during chaplains. It's not a terrible feeling, and it is something you can easily get used to, but I've had a few people who tried this knife tell me that they don't like the feeling of it while chaplaining. Also, the handle-heavy nature of this knife, while great for rollovers, will make chaplains a bit more unstable, so it's good to practice caution if it's your first time flipping it, and not to go too fast into a chaplain until you find the proper balance point. Also, if you don't know what a chaplain is, I have a tutorial I made with this knife for that, so check it out! Other than that though, I really do find this knife to be a pleasure to flip, especially for the price. It's got a lot of what I could want, from nice grip and feel in the hand to great swing and performance in most tricks. I really didn't find any trick I could throw at it that would mess it up, and that is great to see. I see this as a very usable knife in the long run. Not only is it a pleasure to flip and carry, but the good quality blade steel means that it's a good EDC at its price, and materials mean that you don't have to worry too much about dropping and beating it. This knife lands at a similar place in my heart to the Atropos Kirot. I love my Kirot both as an amazing flipper and a great EDC, and this one matches it very well in performance. The Kirot is a better flipper, all things considered, but it's nice to see something like this coming around in a cheaper bracket that can compete with something so all-around good. And that's really where this one lands for me. It's absolutely something I would recommend to anybody looking for either their first live blade or something they could EDC and not care about beating. It's got the weight and balance to be a good learning tool, as well as the performance to make a more experienced flipper happy. Also, if you have the $30 Balisong, this thing just so happens to be a great step up. It has a very similar construction that you'll already be used to, but with much better hardware, so it makes it a very straightforward upgrade. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I like this thing a lot and absolutely suggest it, though I would look into buying from a website like AliExpress instead of some of the others, as I feel it's a bit overpriced on a lot of the major websites. Have you flipped one of these before? What did you think? Did I miss any of the details? Please let me know in the comments down below. I love hearing what other people have to think about the knives I review, as it helps me get more perspective on the community. By the way, if you like the shirt that I had on during the B-roll, you can buy it at willhirsch.gay. We have lots of fun merch there, like this shirt and also a pillow. Wow. Also, I just wanted to give another big thank you to my awesome patron community. You all are awesome and are the reason I'm able to make each one of these videos. If you would like to join my awesome patrons like Notes and Preacher on the private community Discord, consider donating. Tiers start at just $3 a month, and every bit helps me ascend further into hell. We hold voice chats and giveaways, and also make lots of BTS content with all of the dumb bloopers from each video we release. And by the way, there are a lot of dumb bloopers for this video. If any of this sounds cool to you, we await your arrival. Of course, make sure to follow me on Instagram as @TheWillHirsch. I post video announcements and Balisong photos along with BTS of the sets I'm working on. That is the best place to stay updated on what I'm doing. Also, don't forget to follow my camera guy @TheBrandonBaker. He posts awesome photography and video and cannot be escaped no matter how much water you put between yourself and him. Truly remarkable. But that's pretty much it for today's video. Now, if you'll excuse me, Brandon and I are gonna go hang a picture frame.